America should focus on enlisting regional champions. Love this. Regional champions that can help create tolerable stability in the region, even beyond those partners' borders. Okay, they'll help us stop. We must not overlook governments with different outlooks, with whom we nonetheless share interests and who want to work with us. Yeah, but we should not overlook those ones with different outlooks. We'll go with outlook.
It's called the Smokin' Hat Podcast.
Who's going to win this battle of the lumberjacks?
Yeah, controversy is just good.
By no account is any of this true.
International politics.
Oh, but
like, you have to be aware of the optics.
You gotta be aware. And like, dude,
I don't really wash my hands ever.
We lost a significant amount of our deposit.
Those who have perpetrated this hoax.
History.
The young Turks, probably the old Turks, but
three coups a decade or something. But
there's actually rules against me being involved in domestic politics.
And anything else that grabs them.
You guys know that Eric Adams is the mayor
currently? Yeah.
Donald J. Trump, he's got nothing to hide.
They don't know what they're doing.
You're like, oh, okay, that tracks a little bit better.
Okay, I gotta remember that.
We sure hope you enjoy it.
What's up?
Shalom.
Shalom alaikum. Wa alaikum shalom.
Wa alaikum shalom. There's a lot of similarities between Hebrew and Arabic.
Yeah, think about menorah. It's like menorah.
Okay, tell me.
Lighting.
Okay. Well, good.
You know, like Syrians would say menorah. I think Jordanians might say that as well. To mean like you've lit up the place, like you're enlightening us with your presence.
You probably got that a lot.
I don't know. Did I tell you Amar said hi last week? Amar's like, I heard you got married. And I said, yes, I did. I asked him how things were going. He said he went to was going to a Syrian independence celebration in his town in France.
Oh, cool. I had dinner with Mateo and Abid, and cool. I heard a similar sentiment from, I think, both of them. So, yeah. I have not checked in on Syria Direct in a while, but Mateo assures me it's still plugging away.
Inexplicably.
Yeah.
I think the underdog story of the century.
I think some of our old friends are still supporting it, which is great. So
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Second day of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Friday night.
To your neighbors?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Should be good. They're not super observant because I know each night is supposed to have a different themes, probably not the right word, but different thing. And he's like, no, we just do it all small present every night over the course of 8 nights. I think one of nights you give to the poor, and then one of the nights like food. I think it rotates, but
I still, despite knowing so many Jewish friends, most of what I can remember about the celebration of Hanukkah is from the Rugrats Hanukkah special.
Oh, okay. What'd you learn?
You know, that
was Tommy
celebrating?
Was he celebrating Hanukkah, or was this just
it was the retelling of the story of the Maccabees and with Angelica was, now I'm thinking about it, there might have been more than one, because now I'm thinking about the story of Moses, which is a different story.
Right.
But there's one where Tommy was Moses and Angelica was Pharaoh.
I think I remember that one. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that. They definitely did a Hanukkah one too, and I don't remember. I don't know.
Are you familiar with the Maccabees?
No, is that like that sounds bad.
You might know what it is already. So the Maccabees are the choral group at
yeah, that sounds right.
The university up in Upper Manhattan. I forget what it's called. It's not Hebrew University, but it's something. And they redid the song Dynamite by Teo Cruz. And it explains the whole story of Hanukkah. It's actually tremendous.
Oh, okay.
And the chorus is, I throw my latkes in the air sometimes, saying, hey, oh, spin the dreidel. I love it.
Oh, dude, I can't. I went to, Tufts had their a cappella group was Beelzebubs. And they were on that show. There was like this was when Glee was on and college a cappella was like huge.
Yeah.
And There was some college acapella like competition show that they were on, and everybody was. It was like a fervor at that point, and I hated it. I hate acapella, college acapella. It's so corny. It's like Hamilton to me.
Okay, you're not in. You don't like Hamilton either, huh?
No, it's corny hip hop. It does. It's like, it's terrible.
Okay.
I hate the raps.
I hate the raps. I don't think you can say that. All right, hang on.
Tell, yeah. Maccabees in Israel, yeah. When the Greek tried to sell, yeah. But it was all to no avail, yeah. The war went.
Anyway, total banger. And then bizarrely, one time I ended up on a flight back from Milwaukee to New York, and the Maccabees were on the flight. They of many gentlemen with the bag that said Maccabees on the side, and I said, I think I know who you guys are.
Oh God, I didn't need to remember college acapella as a thing.
Another time I was flying on a flight to Milwaukee, and there was the college bowling finals.
That's cooler.
Being held in Milwaukee. So at baggage claim, bowling ball bags just kept coming down the thing with like college names on it. I was like, what is happening? And then
That's
all these
awesome.
college kids started picking up their bowling ball bags.
I can get down with that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, how you doing?
I'm good. It's slow around here these days.
Mm-hmm.
Days are short. Just keeping the wood stove burning all the time. We've been through like a half cord of wood since we got it delivered a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving.
Now, when I buy a thing of wood at the grocery store, it's not a cord. That's a roll.
I don't know if that's nothing.
It's small. Costs $10. Okay.
Probably imagine like 100 of those as a cord.
Really? Okay. So you guys are really doing it.
Yeah, it's like the primary heating for our house in the winter. We've got mini splits, but they don't work nearly as, they do a better job of air conditioning than they do of heating.
Right. My folks in South Carolina have a similar situation. Doesn't get cold there that much, but when it does, it gets really cold.
Well, our house is like, has shitty insulation. It's like the houses in Jordan where like it like doesn't absorb.
It's made of cinder blocks?
No, but it like that amount of efficiency in its insulating properties. It's just like it'll be colder, and you'll go outside in the middle of the day and you'll be like, oh, if it's sunny out, you'll be like, oh, it's like just as nice outside as it is inside.
Really?
If it's sunny out. And then
big trees with moss in your back area and stuff. Like, is it really southerny there?
In the areas that aren't like planted plantation pine, yes.
Okay.
You should come. You got to get down here next year.
Believe me, you're telling me.
Yeah, most of the woods is like planted pine. So it's pine woods, which doesn't grow like that. But there's a couple of areas down by some creeks and stuff that, there's some big trees that have some of that. I forget what that moss is called. Yeah, it looks kind of like Southern Gothic-y. Sure.
Cool. John Grisham-y.
Yeah.
He's a Ole Miss Reb.
I think he did live here. I don't know if he still does. I think he stopped. Well, where does he live now?
I think he went there though, right?
I don't know. But you can buy all his signed books at the bookstore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where he lives.
I think he lives in Virginia now.
Yeah, okay.
When I was really focused on writing, I was like trying to learn about John Grisham, and then I learned there's not that much to learn. I mean, he's a very good plotter and all that, but what he said he did to begin writing his books was he just read the 5 bestsellers on the list and he just tried to write one of those, and then it worked. And that's a pretty good way to do it. So
he did not go to Ole Miss. He went to Northwest Community College. We like Northwest. One of my employee, she played softball at Northwest for 2 years before transferring.
This is in Oxford, or is it?
No, they've got a branch school in Oxford. They've got a bunch of branch schools.
Yeah.
It's in Senatobia, so not too far. She said she hated her softball coach because she played professionally, and threw it in everyone's face all the time. And it's like, so what? Apparently women softball coaches have big ego problems. So there's a TikTok thing about this recently. I'm learning a lot, you know. Whoa.
Hang on. How about now?
Yeah, it's better.
All right, good. What's going on? Right on. Softball coach egos not good. Yeah. Any little power center people can grab, assert themselves in it. You know, when you're like around swimmers, swimming feels very important. And then when you're not, you're like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
Completely unaware, except for every 4 years. I'm like, oh, look at those guys. They're fast. And the girls. So
you're going to Hanukkah. What's Carly? Is Carly on an academic schedule or?
No. So Carly's working down here.
Oh, wait, what's that mean?
She's at the shop.
Oh,
so
cool.
she is laying out books on InDesign.
Wow.
Yeah, as often as possible. When the children are sick, it's less. And we came back from Mexico. We went double ear infection, burst eardrum. You know, we've been just grinding. But everyone's healthy now. Everyone went to school yesterday. We'd been back for 2 weeks, and both kids had not been at school, at least one of them, the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went to the pediatrician like 4 different times because you're not sick enough to get the antibiotic, and then you are. And then it starts. So yeah, it's a whole thing. But I am getting back into guitar.
Oh, the country or the instrument?
Yeah, the country. I'm a registered lobbyist, and I actually was hoping to talk to you about that today. No, so I'm doing my acoustics. I played it like casually for like 20 minutes a night for a while. And then I went away from it. Then I came back and I was like better than I thought I would be because it kind of just like simmers in your brain. And then all of a sudden, like your hands are moving better. But yeah, so now I'm trying to fill that hole with the guitar right now, which is going okay. I can play God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, which I'm pretty pumped about.
Yeah, seasonal.
Moving around the board a little bit.
Gonna get your busking license?
I would love to, dude. There's a guy who plays at my stop on the subway Saturday mornings, and he is tremendous. He's very talented. And he just sits there with sunglasses on for 4 hours and just shreds in between trains. He times it up. Like he wraps up all the songs as the train pulls up. And then you put your dollar in. And I don't know if he loads the thing because I think that's
he loads it. Yeah, you see $1, you're more likely to give $1.
Totally. But he had a lot of money in there on Saturday. He must have had $50 in there. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a lot. But yeah, it's lovely. Oh, okay. So coming down here just now, I had a young rapper put his amp down as he got on the train.
Yeah.
And then he hit play.
Yeah.
And he began rapping up and down. And I was kind of a little tired. And I was like,
sure,
it wasn't great. But he was noticing that I wasn't engaged. So he came right up to me and put the mic. And I said, hey, buddy. So I got a hey, buddy on the thing, and I smiled at him. I wasn't mad. I'm a little tired, and I wasn't.
Do they still have those troops of kids who do like acrobatics and do like stage shows? They just come and take over a train car.
Yes, it still happens. I hadn't seen it since the summer, and they only ride the express lines because you get enough time in between stops for
a whole show. Yeah,
and they have it timed out perfectly. I don't know how they do it, but same thing. Right when we got to the stop, the song was ending. He knows like 30 seconds before we get to the stop to stop, and he starts going around with the hat.
Yeah,
and he got $4. I didn't have any cash, but I do like to donate if I have cash, but I don't always have cash. But yeah, still going. Subway busking is still happening.
Cool.
It's one of the better things that's happening on subways, so I'm okay with it.
I've been trying to teach myself how to whistle, which I never learned, and it is tough.
Same. I can't whistle.
So what I found in my internet scroll, I don't know, digging was that
can't whistle.
Yeah, Reddit for like, but I don't know what it was. Teach me how to do this because I never learned.
Yeah,
you make it like you're saying Q, and that's kind of the face you want. Q, and then you blow, and then it's mostly about tongue positioning after that.
Right.
Q, like the very end, Q is the kind of the lip position you want, and then you figure out blowing with your tongue. I've gotten to like the cusp of it, but I can't like really get over there.
I can do this.
It's better than I can do.
But when I do that around people, and I think particularly women, because I think it's high pitched, they're all like, "Oh my God, please stop doing that." So yeah, it has not been well received. That's as far as I got, and then I got negative feedback, and then I was discouraged, and I abandoned it. So
I mostly want to do it because the dogs respond to it. But
that's a good move. I've seen that. I do this when people go, "Can you whistle?" I go, "Can you do this?"
Oh yeah, can you do the dip snap?
Can you do doubles? Can you do doubles? Can we go crazy? Come
No,
on.
I can't do my right hand.
Oh yeah, you just gotta relax that wrist. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, I can't do that. That's a nice thing.
yeah, you have things, and then I'll bust out the pinky finger, double jointed pinky, bam.
No.
Yeah. And then I broke my middle finger, and I never got it set, so it bends.
You're a walking circus act.
Sure am. Yeah. Okay. So one more thing, and then we'll talk about real things. So you read all these children's books because you have children.
Yeah.
And most of them are terrible. Some of them are okay. We found this one called Dasher, and it's the origin story of Santa's reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
And the reindeer were essentially slaves to an Irishman's traveling circus, James O'Finnigan's traveling circus. And they had to pull the circus all night long in the sweltering heat. It looks like Mexico. I don't know why it would be. They don't mention the country, but it looks like Mexico. And then one day the gate opens with the wind and Dasher escapes and then meets Santa in the woods, who had a horse, but the horse got too tired and couldn't do it. So Dasher helped. And then they went and rescued all the other reindeer from Jay. And I'm always like, what happened to J.P. O'Finnigan's circus? Like, is it just out of business because Santa needed free reindeer? But that's the story, is Dasher escapes. It's like an Underground Railroad thing. She's following the North Star. She runs into Santa in the woods and she is free. It's fascinating. So,
yeah, cool.
Yeah, J.P. O'Finnigan catching strays. Anyway, all right, should we look at things?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, I think.
There's a lot of things. There's so many things. There was a bunch going on just before we logged on, and I was able to squeeze it in. But we'll start with something fun. So, Army Navy this past weekend. Did you watch?
No.
The football? Another ad blocked. Okay, so Donnie loves Army Navy, loves to do the coin toss. In the past, before Trump, it would rotate. The president usually only went once, and then like the Secretary of Defense would go, Secretary of the Navy, Secretary of the Army was the old rotation, but Donnie loves it as political theater. So he goes every year and he insists on doing the coin toss. Now let's watch Donnie flip this coin.
Mr. President, would you do the honor? Are you all set? It is tails. Army, you've won the toss.
Now, do you think that coin flipped? I don't know.
If it did, it's not because he tried to flip it.
Did you? We used to do the coin toss, and you'd see if you could get 5 tails in a row or whatever, and you would try to like perfectly toss it so it would land, and then it would always bounce once. But I don't know about on grass if that thing just sits. Anyway, Donnie with the coin toss getting us started.
His hands are in bad shape, from what I can tell.
That what?
His hands are in bad shape, you know.
Right. And leather gloves is tough.
Mm.
And another thing was learning how to set the coin on your thumb. I remember that being tough.
Oh, really? Speaking of random motor skills, I think I can do that.
You nailed it right off the bat. Okay. The boy with the magic fingers. All right. Let's see. Okay, so that was Trump on Saturday. Here is Trump yesterday.
One more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Okay.
So what are the policy ramifications? What do we have to do for, what's the ongoing
we're getting there.
posture towards WMDs.
All right, so here's our man
Of our
Hegseth.
hemisphere, and we are hunting them with the same sophistication and precision that we hunted Al-Qaeda. We are tracking them, we are killing them, and we will keep killing them so long as they are poisoning our people with narcotics so lethal that they're tantamount to chemical weapons. These narco-terrorists are the Al-Qaeda.
Narco-terrorists, chemical weapons, narco-terrorists are Al-Qaeda. Okay. What's going on here? Well, let's look at the tweet first, and then we can... So this was about an hour ago.
I thought terrorists had to be Muslims.
Fascinating. Okay, so I don't know if I can make this any larger. This was tweeted an hour ago. Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada, capital A, ever assembled in the history of South America. Okay.
That can't even be close to true. Think about how big the fleets were hundreds of years, in the golden age of sail.
Please, I just watched Master and Commander. I know what's going on down there. A lot of ships. You never know who you're going to run into in the fog, right?
Yeah.
It will only get bigger until such time as they return to the United States of America all of the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us. Okay. The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from these stolen oil fields to finance themselves, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping, for the theft of our assets and many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, human trafficking. The Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Therefore, I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers in and out of Venezuela. Illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent to the United States during the weak and inept Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow terrorists, other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation, and likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so what land did they steal? What's just
not a South America walk? I don't know.
Not either. Okay, so this right natural conclusion of the authorization of the use of military force, which I brought up here.
They're in a territorial dispute with its neighbor Guyana, which has nothing to do with
French Guiana. Two different places.
The cook at the head chef at the place we stayed in Antigua is from Guyana.
Okay, he just banned a bunch more people from entering the United States. Antigua got on there. Antigua is banned as of like 3:00.
They were just looking at a map and drew a big circle with a Sharpie or something.
It's why they're like
it's 100,000. It's 100,000 people in Antigua.
They nailed Togo. I was like, what did Togo do? Togo's like just a little nothing, and Togo got on the list. So, yeah, we're up to 30 that are now banned.
It's probably just for that because it makes it a bigger note. Like, what's a tiny, inconsequential place we can throw on the list to make the list longer?
Right, that we have like moderately bad relations with.
Yeah, Curacao.
Caraco. Okay, so War Powers Resolution, authorization to use the military force. We've basically been going to war for 24 years based on this document, and it's so broad that you can use it to do just about anything. And I think it's this last part of the A section, or harbored such organizations or persons in order to prevent any future acts of international terrorism against the United States by such nations, organizations, or persons. So weapons of mass destruction, these are terrorists. It's all going to fall under the AUMF. And then even Democrats did all kinds of sort of absurd things under the AUMF. It's going to be very difficult probably
to say, hey, you can't
do that. I mean, Obama hit that guy from Minneapolis in Somalia. Okay, so there is a bill sponsored by Massey and a Democrat. I forget the Democrat. But the National Defense Authorization Act, which I think is what the budget gets the budget through, includes a repeal of the AUMF. I think maybe it says the Iraq AUMF, so maybe just that, in the Caesar Act. So Massey, and now everybody's flipping out and saying we got to get rid of the AUMF, because if we're going to call fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction and call potential boat carrying drug members terrorists, then we could probably do just about anything under the AUMF. But anyway, so there you go.
I thought they already repealed the Caesar Act, but maybe I'm not.
I think what we talked about a couple of weeks ago was 180-day suspension and then another review. But it is interesting. Donnie is loving Jolani, and this ISIS attack in Palmyra. Donnie was like, "This was ISIS. This was not the Syrian government. Trust me." And I'm sure that is true. But the love that Donnie has for Jolani is fascinating.
What I didn't realize about this until somebody pointed out on Twitter is that this is a ramification of Syria joining the global coalition. Is that they are now conducting patrols with like the new Syrian military, which they only used to do patrols with the SDF.
Oh,
So,
the U.S. Army is doing patrols with them.
yeah, I think that's how this happened. Is that they were out on patrol in Palmyra.
I was going to say Palmyra seems fairly south.
That's not SDF territory.
Yeah.
No, it is not.
Yeah, fascinating. Okay. We have more fun things, but I think we should get into this national security strategy that everyone's been flipping out on. Let's see if this works. Hey, it worked. Did I? Yes. Okay. So national security strategy document 2025. Let me see if I can zoom in for you here.
Whose handwriting is that?
That's me. So I have on my iPad, I can do it. Yeah, a lot of fun. So I can do it in bed when I'm tired, and I can just write it down, and it saves. Notability if you have an iPad, like $14 a year, and you can draw on any document. It's nice.
I don't do that enough. It sounds cool.
I don't either.
But it's cool. If you use it once a year, it's worth it.
I was gonna say they got me like 6 months ago, and then I remember it sometimes. Okay, here we go. Donnie's intro. It's short. It's 34 PDF pages. I think it's only 27. Over the past 9 months, we've brought our nation and the world back from the brink of catastrophe and disaster. Goes on like this. No administration, yada, yada, yada. He complains about NATO. He calls it, he's referring to Operation Midnight Hammer when they blew up Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity, reportedly. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Operation Midnight Hammer, PTA movie? Thomas Hammers? Seems like.
Well, yeah. If Thomas Pynchon writes a book first.
That's right. Did you see One Battle?
Yeah. And I've seen Inherent Vice, which is Inherent Vice is as weird as the book. One Battle After Another, I think they kind of made it more of a Hollywood. It was more of a movie than Inherent Vice was. Inherent Vice feels like, oh, this is a Thomas Pynchon novel.
Really? Okay.
What the hell is going on?
Comes to HBO on Friday. So
cool. It's great.
I'm excited. Shouts out the Cambodia, Thailand thing that he settled like last week. And I guess he kind of settled it, but like, was it a war? Anyway, any little skirmish where he picks up the phone. These are wars that we ended. America is strong and respected again. And everything we do, we're putting America first. And then I tried to sign as big as Donnie signs, and I wasn't even close to as good as this was. It's just the Sharpie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you think that's not PDF'd in there, and then enlarged?
No auto pen.
All right.
No auto pen. That's what he said. So, okay. So that was November 2025. All right. So here's our document. This is just fantastic. You got to see the ending. Okay. Introduction. What is American strategy? Great. To ensure America remains the strongest, richest, most powerful, most successful country for decades to come, we need a coherent and focused strategy. Concrete, realistic plan explains essential connections between ends and means. Not every country, region, issue, or cause, however worthy, can be the focus of American strategy. So there's a lot of circling the wagons here. And then a lot of interesting things where they're saying out loud what a critique of American foreign policy for the last 70 years would have been. And sometimes they're like, this is great, and we're going to do it. And then other times they're like, this is dumb, and we're going to stop doing it. But it all gets called out here. So we are not going to state anything in vague platitudes. The permanent American domination of the entire world is not in the best interest of our country. They're saying in the Cold War, people thought it was. Yet the affairs of other countries are our concern only if their activities directly threaten our interests. Okay, so do what you want, just don't bother us. And then we often in this document veer into domestic politics. So they
really let the Cato Institute run wild here.
I think a real good activity would be, and I point out a couple JD Vance notes, I think, as we go through, but I think you could probably peg who got their hands on this very brief document. And apparently this used to take years, and the different departments would annotate. It would be 150 pages, and you can't say that about Togo, and you can't say this, and this is not that. The affair. Okay. The problem is that they overestimated America's ability to fund simultaneously a massive welfare regulatory administrative state. Is that what America is? A massive welfare regulatory administrative state alongside.
What else does a state do besides administer, regulate, and provide a social safety net?
I have not heard America's welfare state as being described as massive before, but I'm open. They placed hugely misguided and destructive bets on globalism and so-called free trade. Now, let me tell you, and I know we've been sharing this today, I had a DHL package. I got a new roller for the books. Rolls the spines. Came from Germany. $2,000 for this thing. $500 tariff. Shout out to the soybean farmers. I hope they're all right. It, with all the paperwork that went into the tariff, DHL sends you the bill, you pay it, and then theoretically it gets released. I paid the tariff last Monday. The website never syncs up. I'm waiting. I emailed the lady in Cincinnati who works for DHL that I've been emailing with. She ghosts me. She was helping me at first, saying, got to pay this, yada, 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 the way, but whatever. The invoice, something says this, you got to do this, get all that stuff done. And then she ghosts me. The Germans are emailing DHL on their end. They're not hearing anything back. I have to call DHL. DHL, it's almost impossible to get to a human. I had to lie to the robot like 4 times. I was like, my package is on fire. There's a man here. He's got a gun. You got to let me talk to a human. I finally get there, and a lovely, I think, person helping me from somewhere abroad. She was very helpful. And then she kicked me to a human in Phoenix. The human in Phoenix goes, hey, this is weird. And then an hour later, I get an email that the package is on the truck. But it took me 45 minutes plus $500 to make that all happen. So anyway, I am enjoying, I miss free trade, I think is what I'm trying to say, is it was easier. Because even when I brought in these massive machines from Italy, it was like way smoother than it is right now. But anyway, so Donnie is done with free trade, so-called free trade. Okay, and then here's what they did. They lashed American foreign policy to a network of international institutions, some of which are driven by outright anti-Americanism, and many by a transnationalism that explicitly seeks to dissolve individual state sovereignty. So that's probably not good for the UN budget.
It's so funny to see a document like this written like it's by a, nerdy young Republican graduate student, as opposed to just like all caps shouting.
3 months into an international affairs master's, a Republican writes this. That's what this is. It's like they learn a little bit, they're outraged and horrified, and they're like, no. It's much simpler than all that. So anyway, okay, so state sovereignty is the main focal point. President Trump's necessary and welcome correction. Here we go. First and foremost, we want the survival and safety of the United States as an independent sovereign republic whose government secures God-given rights of its citizens and prioritizes their well-being and interests. Most of its citizens. If you're on a flight back from the Caribbean, as I was coming into Newark, not all the citizens, but some. I didn't get called for secondary questioning, which was weird. And then here we kind of veer into little Ben Shapiro territory. Here are the problems we're facing: destructive propaganda, influence operations, and cultural subversion.
I thought we fixed the TikTok problem.
We did. Larry Ellison bought it. Did you see the Erica Kirk, Barry Weiss Saturday Night Fever thing?
No.
So Barry Weiss takes over CBS News,
Yeah.
and her big first get is a sit down with Erica Kirk on Saturday after the Army-Navy game. The Army-Navy game rolled right into a very bizarre and uncomfortable sit down because Barry Weiss isn't that good on camera, and Erica Kirk is really bad on camera. Like it's really off-putting. So they go back and forth for like an hour and a half about all the conspiracy theories and how weird the right is, and then they kind of like planted some questions. There was a little bit of tension, but not much. But mostly it was just hard to watch because they're not good.
They're awkward.
Yeah, Barry's awkward. That's the thing. Yada yada yada. Golden Dome for the American homeland. Do you want an Iron Dome like Israel?
Well, I heard that they're upgrading it to like work off of lasers. In which case, it's like orders of magnitude cheaper than the current system, which I think costs a lot of money. So from just like a pragmatic standpoint, I don't know. It seems no, because I don't know the last time we suffered a rocket attack from a neighbor.
Right. So that's the thing is like for us, it's going to be a nuclear weapon. And if people think we might be able to shoot them down, it's this whole mutually assured destruction business. But like if people actually make good anti-nuclear weapon capacities, like it might be way more dangerous because people are going to try to slip one through, or they're going to think that it won't get through and send them, it's just one of those things where it's kind of better if we can all just nail each other.
Yeah. The brinksmanship becomes self-defeating.
Yeah. Okay. The world's most robust industrial.
But hold on though. Gold is like famously like a malleable metal, right?
Okay.
So like as opposed to iron, which evokes strength, gold just evokes vanity and not being very efficient.
Let's see what comes up first. Golden Dome images. See, Notre Dame. So the main building at Notre Dame is like called the Golden Dome.
Yeah.
And like the famous thing is gold is so malleable that it's a ball of gold that big coats that whole building.
Right.
And that's why our helmets are gold and like everything at the campus is gold.
If they did it, that would be perfect. That would be poetic. It's just like an aesthetic only. It doesn't actually do anything. It sounds sexy, but it's a sham.
Look at the results here. We have Notre Dame. We have a potential Golden Dome system. We have the Dome of the Rock. Golden Dome's a good search term. All right, cool. So Golden Dome for the American people. Robust industrial base. Jobs report came out today. 7 months in a row of decreased manufacturing jobs in America. So that's not going great. Okay. Now, soft power, which Donnie got rid of USAID, hates the State Department. We exercise positive influence throughout the world. Okay, we are going to be respectful of other countries' differing religious, culture, and governing systems. Now, that is a thing we have been for a long time, right? But we don't really maybe always...
On a good day.
On a good, yeah. But like when we were respectful of whatever authoritarian the other guy was, Pinochet the bad guy, or...
yeah.
Right. So like we can be respectful of authoritarians. We just don't usually always write it down. But we threw that one in for MBS, I think. And we're going to cherish our past glories and our heroes. We want people who are proud, happy, and optimistic. That's who could argue with that? And then traditional families that raise healthy children. So I said this is a RFK JD ad. They maybe have notability as well. And they said, hey, traditional families that raise healthy children. You won't be able to get hepatitis B shots. Okay. Now, Donnie is making, it's called the Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. So we're going back to the Monroe Doctrine, all about the Western Hemisphere. Okay, we want to prevent an adversarial power from dominating the Middle East, its oil and gas supplies and the choke points which they pass while avoiding forever wars. So I think that would just be Iran.
So that's an asterisk on the corollary of the Monroe Doctrine.
Yeah, it is. And then he gets into Europe here in a little bit. This is not a good document for Europe. Okay, so we got some bullet points here. yada, yada, yada. Big army, nimble system, unmatched soft power, and then the courage and the willpower of the American people. Okay, we're going to reinstill a culture of competence and root out so-called DEI that degrade our institutions and hold us back. Some other things, tax cuts. Tax cuts are important to our national security, historic tax cuts. Okay, the strategy. All right, here we go. This is the best paragraph in the whole document. President Trump's foreign policy is pragmatic without being pragmatist, realistic without being realist, principled without being idealistic, muscular without being hawkish, and restrained without being dovish. It's not grounded in traditional political ideology. It's motivated above all by what works for America, or in 2 words, America first. And this is Trump's magic power of like, I am everything that is good, and I am nothing that is bad. So these words have meanings, but I'm not that. But I'm the root of that word, but I'm not the bad version of that word that you've heard about. I love muscular without being hawkish and restrained without being dovish. Sure.
I mean, in any other sure, that's good speech writing. I don't know if it's the underpinning of a national strategy document.
Yes. And where does restrained without being dovish, where does blowing up fishing boats fit within restrained without being? I'm not such a dove that I won't blow up an outboard motor in the middle of the Caribbean. Okay, here are his successes. He ended the war in Gaza with all living hostages returned to their families, which is just a very specific way of saying it took him a long time. It took him 7 months, but further back. And anyway, there were, sad to say, hostages who did not survive, but the living ones were returned. Okay, focus definition, yada, yada, yada. Nothing fun here. All right, flexible realism. The U.S. policy will be realistic about what is possible and desirable to seek in its dealings with other nations. And what is possible is putting an aircraft carrier off of Venezuela and blowing up fishing boats, although maybe we're going to start seizing tankers. The primacy of nations. We stand for the sovereign rights of nations against the sovereignty-sapping incursions from the most intrusive transnational organizations, and for reforming those institutions so that they assist rather than hinder individual sovereignty and further American interests.
So fuck the UN.
Fuck the UN.
Fuck
Unless the UN wants to help us do whatever it is we're doing.
Which, again, not that different than, the Bush
reality, right? You think about 2003. It's like we did not listen to the UN.
Yeah.
We've definitely not listened to the UN before. Okay, balance of power. Cannot allow any nation to become so dominant it could threaten our interests. We'll work with allies and partners.
Such like I just took, international foreign policy 201.
Right. I mean, to say like realistic without being realist is like people don't know what that means. Like people don't know what realism is in an international affairs.
A lot of these bullet points are just like flashcards from studying for an IR course. Balance of
I generally wonder how much ChatGPT was involved in the drafting.
I'm bandwagoning. Is that going to come up here? Like we're going to start quoting Mearsheimer.
Yeah. And then what was the one where the personality driven one?
The images of
there was one where it was like one man can shape the outcome because realism doesn't explain Stalin or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. In particular, we expect our allies to spend far more of their GDP on their own defense. That is, I think that probably is true. Europeans are learning that they should have more things. Successful. Okay, so competence and merit. The success of radical ideologies that seek to replace competence and merit with favored group status would render America unrecognizable and unable to defend itself. So countries changing, their character changing, and then if we should maintain relationships with countries whose character is changing, that comes up later. Okay. The era of mass migration is over. In countries throughout the world, mass migration has strained domestic resources, increased violence and other crime, weakened social cohesion, distorted labor markets, and undermined national security. Here we go. Now we get into the stuff. The Anglosphere. We will oppose elite-driven, anti-democratic restrictions on core liberties in Europe, the Anglosphere, and the rest of the democratic world, especially among our allies. So this whole, we're not worried about other countries unless they threaten our political interests. I think Tommy Robinson in England, right? It's getting a little shout out here from Elon and the boys. The Anglosphere. Okay.
And then here anywhere the parts of the world where English is spoken, which is
right.
What is that? Atlas. That's a good image. Yeah. Atlas shrugged.
I was going to say, I think our boys are the Heritage Foundation reading list is reaping through. The days of the U.S. propping up the entire world order like Atlas are over. It's this weird thing where they are so convinced of like American cultural superiority, but they have no interest in playing any role in the world. And they're constantly talking about how hard it is to do this, but yet they insist on the supremacy of American culture, whatever the hell they think that means. Okay, Atlas, yada, yada, yada. Gets boring here. Okay, the regions. To focus and prioritize is to choose. To acknowledge that not everything matters equally to everyone.
Well, it's getting philosophical here. Whoa.
That took a little turn there. And I see an M dash. Yeah, I think what the kids say, we got a clanker.
Yeah.
I think we got a clanker. So the Western Hemisphere, the Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. This Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine is a common sense and potent restoration of American power and priorities consistent with American security interests. I think every American's been really worried about the Western Hemisphere. I think that is, I think we are all like, it's about time. Brazil selling the soybeans.
All those Christians sneaking into our country.
That's right. All those Catholics, let's be honest. Okay. America should focus on enlisting regional champions. Love this. Regional champions that can help create tolerable stability in the region, even beyond those partners' borders. Okay, they'll help us stop. We must not overlook governments with different outlooks, with whom we nonetheless share interests and who want to work with us. Different outlooks is tremendous.
Especially ones in different subcontinents between the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, need those. And then certain guys on the Isthmus of Panama who maybe have flexible detention policies. But we should not overlook those ones with different outlooks. Outlooks is just great. It doesn't feel like this got a lot of revisions. So they were just like, we'll go with Outlook. And then here we go. The United States will prioritize commercial diplomacy to strengthen our own economy and industries using tariffs and reciprocal trade agreements as powerful tools. So theoretically, this company in Germany, which is the only company in the world outside of drop shipping Alibaba stuff that rounds the backs of books, is me paying the tariff going to incentivize someone in America to begin manufacturing book rollers? I don't know.
Or is you paying that tax making Germany change its tune on whatever foreign policy issue?
I know. I still bought it because it's the only one. So, although I heard today that in the NAFTA, whatever it's called, the new NAFTA, but it's essentially just NAFTA, that there were tons of carve-outs in there that no one was even using because everything was so fine beforehand anyway that they didn't care to use them. And now the lawyers are incentivized to look, and that a huge amount of tariffs are being exempted. So huge companies are finding all the loopholes that were in the USMCA and are not paying tariffs. And then I don't know. I'm sure there isn't, but I don't know. I'm not going to do that. So when DHL sends me the bill, I'm paying the bill. Shout out to the soybean farmers. All right. Non-hemispheric competitors have made major inroads into our hemisphere.
I don't think the soybean farmers were having a good year. You keep saying that. I think they had a bad...
Well, they got bailed out. I'm just talking about the 13 bill.
Oh, okay.
And I think Donnie said it came from tariffs. So,
okay.
Yeah. No, I love the soybean farmers.
No, they're not, most of them are not working boy Bubba farmers. They're
right.
Giant capitalized and And
Scott
yeah.
Bissett is a soybean farmer, I was told. So his family. Okay, so from control of military installations, ports, and key infrastructure to the purchase of strategic assets broadly defined. So I think this is China. They don't refer to China. Do you ever worry about China? Did I ever tell you about my guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry about China guy? All right, here we go. In the Western Hemisphere and everywhere in the world, the United States should make clear that American goods, services, and technologies are a far better buy in the long run because they are higher quality and do not come with the same kind of strings as other countries' assistance. So this is criticizing people who buy, I think, Chinese and Russian military equipment. But the Swiss military, I think, just turned down their order of F-35s because they found out that if we want, we can just turn them off. And that's part of the sale. So some strings attached.
Yeah.
And I think Israel has the only carve out on that where we can't turn them off. Anyway, that's the thing I read on the internet.
There's lots of strings. The ones to Turkey we pulled because of that air defense system that they bought from Russia.
Right. Yes. Okay, here we go. All our embassies must be aware of major business opportunities in their country, especially major government contracts. Okay, so quit learning about the country and figure out how we can make a little money. Okay, the United States must resist targeted taxation, unfair regulation, expropriation that disadvantages U.S. businesses. Okay, the terms of our agreement with those countries that depend on us most and therefore over which we have the most leverage must be sole source contracts for our companies. So they're saying if we have a lot of leverage, we need to hammer these guys. These are our friends. This is why you want to do business with us. We need sole source contracts if we have a lot of leverage over them. So anyway, shout out to Togo. I'm worried about him. Okay. 2%. So that Europe needs to be okay. So here we go. China's exports to the United States stood at 4% of its GDP, but have since fallen to slightly over 2% of its GDP. But I heard that their trade surplus has grown since tariffs. They're just sending everything everywhere else, and everyone is buying it cheaply. Okay, we must continue to improve commercial relations with India to encourage them to join the cooperation between Australia, Japan, and the United States, quote unquote, the Quad. I didn't know of that one, the Quad.
Yeah, that's new to me.
Okay, great. We must encourage Europe, Japan, Korea, Australia, Canada, Mexico, and other prominent nations in adopting trade policies that help rebalance China's economy toward household consumption because Southeast Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East cannot absorb China's enormous excess capacity. So hopefully we don't use too much of that leverage we were talking about against our friends, but they need to be buying from us, not from China. Okay. The president won the Gulf state support for America's superior AI technology, deepening our partnership. And I think the way he did that was by giving them NVIDIA chips that they couldn't get before we gave them a waiver to get NVIDIA chips. Good. UAE seems to be sharing that technology with China. Who knows? Okay, we will maintain our longstanding declaratory policy on Taiwan, meaning that the United States does not support any change in the status quo in the Taiwan Strait. Okay.
Seems like we're bowing towards China in that regard.
Seems like it. Here we go. Promoting European greatness. Now, this is a document that's theoretically allowing everyone to pursue their own things depending on their outlook. Okay. This economic decline is eclipsed by the real and more stark prospect of civilizational erasure, loss of national identities, and self-confidence. Should present trends continue, the continent will be unrecognizable in 20 years or less. It is far from obvious whether certain European countries will have economies and military strong enough to remain reliable allies. These nations are currently doubling down on their present path. We want Europe to remain European, to regain its civilizational self-confidence and abandon its failed focus on regulatory suffocation. Okay. As a result of Russia's war in Ukraine, European relations with Russia are now deeply attenuated. What? I think that means strained. I don't know, attenuated. I've heard it.
Thanks, Grammarly.
Yep. Oh, yeah, let's see. having been reduced. Okay. Got it. They are deeply reduced. And many Europeans now regard Russia as an existential threat. Why would that be? Managing European relations with Russia will require significant U.S. diplomatic engagement.
I thought the Europeans need to get their self-confidence back, but but not towards Russia. They should be bullied by
They're going to
Russia.
need our help to understand that Russia's their friend. Come on. To reestablish the conditions of strategic stability across the Eurasian landmass and to mitigate the risk of conflict between Russia and European states. Okay, the Trump administration finds itself at odds with European officials who hold unrealistic expectations of the war, perched in unstable minority governments, many of which trample on basic principles of democracy to suppress opposition. I don't think he's talking about Viktor Orban here, if I had to guess. A large majority of Europeans want peace, yet that desire is not translated into policy. Okay. Europe's getting it here. Okay, here we go. It gets a little bit weird here. America is understandably sentimentally attached to the European continent and, of course, to Britain and Ireland.
Oh, is that it?
Aren't most white Americans German?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's German. But okay, Donnie's grandma's from Scotland, so here we are. Okay, Britain and Ireland, NATO members. Okay. People were certain that NATO members will become majority non-European. Okay, this is their worry. As such, it's an open question whether they will view their place in the world or their alliance with the United States in the same way as those who signed the NATO Charter. They think differently.
Going native.
Yes.
Going non-native.
That's right. Okay. Middle East shifts burdens and builds peace. AI, yada, yada. Okay. It is the Middle East is emerging as a place of partnership, friendship, and investment, a trend that should be welcomed and encouraging. In fact, President Trump's ability to unite the Arab world in Sharm el-Sheikh in pursuit of peace and normalization will now allow the United States to finally prioritize American interests.
I was listening to Christian radio the other day, and they were pissed that they just can't understand that, like, Trump is shaking hands with Qataris and these Gulf guys who they are accused of they think that they're not anything less than full-throated, sore throat, yelling support of Israel is just total betrayal. And they see Trump, and I'm like, yeah, it sucks.
Really?
They are pissed. Yeah. They just
That's interesting.
This guy, oh my God, he was brutal. He's like, he lost his job at the FBI for, he taught the FBI about Islam and Muslims. He taught them, he taught them his ahistorical bigotry version of things. And he lost his job, and I don't know. He sounded like I don't think he's a FDD. I don't know what he's doing. He's a bitter crank now, going on Christian radio. I don't think things can be going that well for him. But he was not happy with Trump's, cozying up with these guys, because I think like by default, like just the fact that they're Muslims made him pissed off. He didn't have. Right. I don't think he had much he had less geostrategy.
You got it. I get it.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
He had less of a geostrategic line of view than like most Israelis, just because he can't see past somebody being a Muslim. I think he's blinded by his own bigotry in this regard.
Yep, that's a thing.
Anyways.
All right. So Middle East is going to be a place of peace and investment. And then Africa, this is a beautiful ending to this document. For far too long, American foreign policy in Africa has focused on providing and later on spreading liberal ideology. Is that what's going on? This is a South Africa thing, right?
I don't know.
It's an Elon. This is about the Boer farmers, if I had to guess. It goes a little while. And then this is how the document ends. So there's a paragraph on
sort of trails off on Africa,
and then we're done. There's no conclusion. There's no in summary. I would like to say I think
they ran out of their AI tokens.
credits.
Yeah.
They said, whoa, buddy. Okay. The data centers are running a little hot right now. Yep. So that's how it ended. So there's our American national security strategy. Very exciting. Any other thoughts on our direction? I got a couple more treats in here, but anything else you want to say on the national security strategy?
No, I don't think it's much of a
direction.
It's a rant with a bunch of. I mean, I think all of these. I've read these before in college, and none of them are like particular like achievable action items. It's just like a big long wish list that you can point to prove you had goal setting. I don't think this one's particularly necessarily egregious.
Yeah. All right. Well, remember the Coast Guard thing?
Yeah.
It is happening.
Wait, again. So it's unreversed?
It's unreversed. We're downgrading.
Oh, so you can get in with a tattoo of
They are potentially divisive. They are no longer hate symbols.
I bet they got hammered for backing down to fake news media, and now they're doubling. Yeah. Oh.
Something's going on in the Coast Guard. I don't know what's going on. But something. Gotta keep an eye on them. Okay, so that is that update. Hegseth. Okay, so here's Hegseth today, or was it yesterday? They had the hearing on the Hill to show the video.
Yeah.
And then here he is talking about whether he would release it to the public.
Also going to tomorrow allow the HASC and SASC to see the unedited video of the September 2nd, alongside with Admiral Bradley, who has done a
those America pocket squares are so fucking dumb.
But in keeping with
the workwear guy does not like it.
Department of War policy, Department of Defense policy, of course, we're not going to release a top secret full unedited video of that.
No, we're just going to chat about those things on
all right, so
our boys chat.
So we're going to not release that
because of OPSEC from the OPSEC king himself.
Here's a video they released today. Because we can't handle death? Well, this one seems like it. Yep.
Oh, God, I hate this shit.
Yep. So he will not release it because, of course, he wouldn't release it. Here's 3 strikes that we did yesterday. Yeah. So Hegseth.
And then the Admiral resigned.
Did Bradley resign?
Yeah, hours ago, I think. Jordan told me.
I didn't see that. Okay. Oh, that's
so SOCOM guy retired days after this Admiral involved. Everybody's jumping
ship.
That's a little on the nose.
It is a little on the nose. Okay, here's Doug Ford talking about the holidays.
So people in these parts, they used to go across the border constantly. People go over, have some wings. They go over, get a couple of groceries. Canadians are no longer flying to Florida. They're not being, they're snowbirds. Basically, it's right.
I love that. That's so Canadian.
That organic.
Wait, what?
Go over and have some wings.
Have some wings. Get some groceries. Okay.
That's so delightfully.
And this is Doug Ford, who I think when he was the mayor of Toronto was like doing heroin, right? Allegedly.
I think, yeah.
I think this is him. I think he's now the governor, whatever they call it up there. The premier
prefecture,
something. Yeah.
Sounds.
Wilayat, Ontario.
Boycott of tourism into America. Do you support that? And are you going to go to Florida this year?
So let me tell you, it's going to be the first time I'm not going to Florida. But I talked to so many people. Don't let this guy Trump determine and ruin your life and everything. That's my personal choice. Maybe some families have gone to Florida their whole lives. Go to Florida. That's great. But I encourage you to stay here and support local tourism. But you can't let the one tyrant change your lives, right? It just.
So anyway.
So delightfully pragmatic and reasonable.
Yeah. It's a former heroin addict turned governor. And he's quite rational. So,
hey man, those 12 steps really
I believe in it for sure.
Yeah. Beat some,
when I was down in Mexico, and I think it's always a hot spot, but a lot of Canadians down in Mexico. And my uncle down in Naples said all the Canadians in his little development are putting their houses on the market. So he was confused as to why. He's like, I don't know why they're doing it. I was like, well,
yeah. It's like my in-laws. My brother was like, and Jordan couldn't. My brother was explaining like his Trump parents-in-law didn't know what the blue lives but the thin blue line in the blue lives matter flag meant. They're just like blissfully unaware of like, you know, the implications of voting on vibe. They also, the one guy got laid off from his insurance company and didn't realize how bad insurance was until he didn't have insurance.
Dude,
the dad.
Do you buy on the? Do we talk about this? You buy in the marketplace, or do you?
I'm with Jordan.
Jordan has a job.
Yeah, Jordan works for Leidos.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right, good. I'm on the marketplace. It's bad.
It's brutal. Yeah,
it's really
I've
bad.
been on the marketplace.
It's so expensive, and it's so nobody's in your network. I keep having to jump because all the hospitals keep leaving all the plans because it's terrible. So the hospital that then the pediatrician set up that the kids and they gotta go to the pediatrician they like. So I keep jumping plans now, and now I gotta re-enroll with a new company, and it's more money, and it sucks. My deductible's like $1 gajillion before whatever kicks in. So yeah. Anyway,
this year I got the back surgery, so we were like trying to figure out like anything that we wanted to do while we had met our deductible for the year.
Oh yeah, go nuts.
Just get it done.
Yeah. Wait, you had back surgery? What was that?
I got a microdiscectomy. I had a what do you call it? Herniated disc.
Okay. From farm work?
You know, it had flared up before my life and gone away, but I think it flared up really bad this time, enough to like make me follow through and like get it dealt with and pay, pony up for the MRI essentially.
Yeah.
And I had a severely herniated disc, my L5S1, and I got it. They took out the little bulge, they sawed it off or whatever, and I walked out of the lobby after the surgery. It was crazy.
That's great. How long was your recovery? You had to be delicate with it for a little while?
Yeah, for like a month and do some PT and stuff. So it was, it's pretty night and day though. I used to have to think about every time I sat down how I was sitting and be cognizant of it. And, I would like make sure I had perfect posture and just to avoid like getting pain. I couldn't stand, you know what I mean? It was one of those, thinking about it now, it's still crazy because it's one of those things you don't realize the quality of life. You're just constantly on guard. And now I'm like, if I want to lay back in this office chair, I can do it. And I don't have to think about it. That sort of shit. Anyways, so.
Right on. Did you see this Brown shooting business with the FBI?
Well, I saw Kash Patel going on some podcast while they're conducting a manhunt.
So the Providence police are saying, so the night it happens, a name gets out. The name is a kid who I think is going to Brown in the spring or maybe next year. And he's from Milwaukee. He's from like the northwest side of Milwaukee. And the FBI, it gets leaked. They think the FBI leaked it. So it's all over the news in Milwaukee. And my dad's like, the guy was from Slinger or wherever outside of Milwaukee. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And then it turns out the Providence PD is like, we didn't get this lead. We didn't leak it. FBI found that lead. They got the person and then they released him later that night after his picture goes around the world.
I know it's like, remember with the Boston bombing, like something got on Reddit, some like Saudi kid got like put through hell just because this thing appeared out of nowhere.
Right. But this was from the FBI because there is a kid, there is a Palestinian kid, I think, who is being circulated on social media as who they think it is. Mm-hmm. But it's based on a dark, grainy ring cam of a guy walking down the street.
Yeah, all that footage to me looks like a fat, middle-aged white guy.
Yeah, that's what I saw as well. But anyway, so and then the Providence PD is like, that wasn't us. We're sorry. Don't listen to anyone but us. And it's like, it's the FBI. It's pretty wild. I mean, we're like 4 days on now, and they still don't have anybody. That's pretty wild.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, you reading anything good right now?
I just finished the book about Barbie, which was
it
was interesting. It was probably more than I cared to read about, but it was well written in all the digressions. When you start looking into, you introduce a character and then you're like, let's talk about them for a page or two. Those all tended to be like really interesting. Like all these people were characters. Like, you know, spent a couple pages.
The designers.
No, this is all about the history of Mattel, which is basically a big litigious history. The idea of Barbie was stolen from a German doll, but they try to keep that under wraps, and they do all sorts of trade espionage. And they've got
Disney
a lot
World too, right?
is what?
Stolen from Tivoli Gardens in Germany or Amsterdam
possible.
or something. Yeah.
So it was interesting. The book ends with like, there was like a 10-year lawsuit against the Bratz doll line. Barbie was doing pretty bad in the late 90s. I mean, Mattel had ups and downs, and it's also interesting because there's all these random aerospace and like defense guys who get involved because it's in El Segundo, which is where a bunch of those companies are headquartered. And there's some early links, I think I told you, because like early plastics overlapped a lot with like the technology that these aerospace companies were into. So there's lots of characters. There's some reflections on changing American culture and womanhood and blah blah blah. So it was cool. Finished it. I don't know what I'm gonna read next.
Did you ever read, speaking of Southern California aerospace, did you ever read Airframe?
No.
Which is a Michael Crichton book, like right after he wrote Jurassic Park. So Crichton actually is kind of a righty. He like hates unions. And this whole book, Airframe, is about like the union work at a plane builder. I think it's supposed to be whatever was there, McDonnell Douglas or Lockheed or whatever was down there. And basically the whole plot is like a union laziness, something led to a plane crash. And then I would remember when the 737 MAX stuff was happening and like the whatever wasn't lining up and the planes were automatically diving down.
Yeah.
And you're like, who's busting unions harder than Boeing? You know, they like moved their plant to South Carolina to get away from the unions. And you're like, Michael Crichton's whole fantasy was like a union plane crash. And then like the deunionization and like the destruction of Boeing by MBA holding business people like led to this super rushed plane that they didn't do the right engine testing on. But this whole novel is like 1995, like the unions are going to kill you in a plane.
Yeah.
And it's like an exciting book, but like that is the takeaway. It's like, man, those unions are going to get us killed.
Yeah, who would think that corporate greed is more
problem?
of a killer than the proletariat?
Right. Well, you think about the message of Jurassic Park, and I haven't read that book, and people do say the book's fantastic, but that feels like an anti-corporate thing, like corporate bastardization of science and commercialization.
We didn't pause to ask ourselves if we should.
That's right. I sent that meme twice this week, and I'm trying to remember why. What was it? Oh my God. It was something. Notre Dame keeps changing their logos for all the sports. And now the Leprechaun has a football and the Leprechaun has a basketball. And I keep saying we have to cut off the Adobe subscription at Notre Dame. And then I kept asking to see if we could. You never stopped to see if we should.
Yeah.
And there was a big swimming scandal at Notre Dame where they were gambling on their own races with each other for like a lot of money. And I was like, the swimming one has to be like a leprechaun taking bets, like in a Speedo. That needs.
It's gonna be so funny when the next generation has like no vices, doesn't really have sex, and is just chronically addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
Like,
it's our corporate vice. Yeah. That's very true. I saw the polling on gambling among men, like 25 to 50 is like cratered. Like 60% of men think it should be illegal, which like 5 years ago was like 20%. And now everybody's gotten wiped out on parlays and they're like, it should not be legal. So,
yeah, I think you'll lose your life quicker than booze. Drugs will take a while. The gambling is fast.
I know a couple second and third degree connections, people I don't know, but people who know people who have like 40-year-old men who have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars gambling sports.
And it's just so much less sexy than at least like, going casino. You know what I mean?
Or having to call up Tony, like the discretion involved, like the hurdles, puts him in the
underworld. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't know. I mean, in England, they're already banning. The gambling company sponsored all the soccer jersey fronts, which is like a huge income stream for the soccer teams. They're banning that, and they've done all these studies because they've had legal gambling forever. And like 70% of all sports accounts end up at $0.
Yeah.
So like 70% of every account that ever gets set up, every dollar you put in there ends up with the gambling company.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway.
It's brutal. I have you read Norm Macdonald's fake autobiography?
No, I've heard about it.
Based
Okay.
on a true story.
Okay.
A lot of that gambling comes up a lot now because he famously lost everything he had several times over.
I've heard Rounders is based on Norm Macdonald.
Could be. I haven't seen that. But I think so. But he talked. I mean, he has some very interesting reflection because he's also dying of cancer, and he's like just searching for meaning, and so he's got some really poignant reflections on like. Especially, I remember the book ending. It stuck with me. About like why gamble, and he's like when you're flipping the coin and it's up in the air, everything is possible for a moment, and it's not about how it lands, it's about that feeling when it's spinning in the air.
I think I heard a story that when he was trying to quit gambling, he won $50,000 in Atlantic City, and then he called his sponsor, like his therapist, and his therapist said to throw it in the ocean, and he did.
Yeah.
So there's a story that Norm Macdonald threw $50,000 in the Atlantic Ocean one night.
Sounds very plausible.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw him do stand-up like a year before he died.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah. It was towards the end. He wasn't that famous, relatively speaking. I mean, when he passed away, kind of people rediscovered him, but it must have been I was still in Denver. So like 2017, 2016. And, he was great. He was so funny, but he came out and he had just been watching the Masters all day.
Yeah.
And he came out and he just did like 20 minutes on the Masters, just like riffing.
Yeah.
It was just delightful. We were just saying, this is great.
You should read that book. It's one of the funniest things I've ever read.
Really?
It's really, really funny. And it's like written it's got just it's oddball. It's like very novel in how he writes it and the narrative technique and stuff. I would read that. Next thing
he was writing like micro novels on Twitter at various points in the 2010s, and and then he would comment on Nabokov or like whatever.
He's big into Russian. He was really into the Russian literature.
Yeah,
it's like the moth joke. Have you ever heard that he told on?
I have heard the moth joke. Yeah, I love the moth.
Full
joke.
of the depressing Russian characters.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh man, he was so great
because the light was on.
It's the best. So good. Yeah, Norm. Anyway.
What's the big gifts for the kids?
Oh, yeah. I got a children's guitar.
Whoa.
The 4.5-year-old is doing piano conventionally at the little music school in our neighborhood. And it's good, but I'm messing around on the guitar and she's intrigued by the guitar, but it's giant. So there's a kid's one, and then it comes with a book, but also an iPad app, which I don't love, but I think it probably does seem like very interactive. And it's like, do this note, and it listens and it gives you like points as you go.
Yeah.
So I think that's the big one. Carly wanted a composter. So I got a composter. It's like $800, and it cycles through, supposed to like leave very little. It's called Mill. I didn't do my research on this. This was the one she wanted. But she wants to there's a bunch of planter boxes on her street. She wants to feed them the fresh soil. And then we have a bunch of little plants in the house. And she has some donation targets because we do end up throwing a lot of food away because the children, some of it.
But
do we need worms?
No, you don't.
Will there be worms? Okay.
You don't need anything to compost. I mean, it's just a question. Everything composts eventually. It's a question of how quickly it composts. And the best way to make something compost quickly is have the right nitrogen to carbon, greens to browns ratio.
Okay.
Anyways, you could just like throw a bunch of stuff in a pile and some leaves on it, and then in a year it'll be kind of composted.
Does it smell?
Depends what you're putting in it.
Yeah. So I think this thing's airtight because I think We got mice.
Yeah.
Mice. But
sure. All right, cool. Yeah, why not? I mean,
why not?
$800. We've got like a big plastic round thing on our back thing that we use just because we don't like the food waste, but we're building a big, like what's it going to be, like 50 square foot? No, 10 feet by like 100. I don't know. We're building a big three bay compost facility this winter. We're supposed to pick up the wood sometime this week.
Okay.
We got a grant for, so we can, because we, imagine how much food waste we produce.
Yeah.
Or non-food waste, just plants that are at the end of their life.
Yeah. What about you? You got anything on your list?
No, the big thing was putting together like a wedding album for the parents.
That's nice.
And those are expensive, man. Talk about bookbinding. We got the lay flat pages, but not the deluxe lay flat. The matte cover. I mean, it could, for a 50-page book, 11 by 14, it would get up to, with all the options, we're talking like $400.
Depending on the options.
Yeah. So we went with the $200 one.
No chances, dude. You still got 960,000, depending on the options. Yeah, those are nice. That's a good line of business to get into. It's like when you're setting up a bookshop, they're like, do wedding albums and get this machine that does the lay flats. It's a little finicky. You need the right machinery to make that. So I could, but it would be very time consuming.
What's the options line from?
It's Big Lebowski.
Oh yeah.
when the kid buys the
Corvette. Yeah.
He goes, he spent all the money. He goes, no chance, dude.
Yeah.
Still got 960 grand depending on the options.
Not exactly lightweight. Wrote the majority of the series.
That's so good.
This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
There you go. It's good for monetization. The majority of the series.
Yeah.
So good.
I haven't seen that in a while. I should rewatch it.
It's an honor to meet you, sir.
Yeah.
He's sick. He's in the Iron Lung. He's sick. So good.
New Knives Out is great. You should see it.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I found the second one to be maybe turning me off.
That's how I felt. The third one is way better than the second. Might be as good as the first.
Okay, good.
A lot of Catholicism in there. Although I read Father James Martin for the Society of Jesus offering his thoughts, and he's like, clearly filmed in an Episcopal church.
Oh, really? You nailed him. I know that guy on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, he's like the most public Jesuit. He's like a public figure.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's one of the good ones. But
good Jesuits, yeah.
But he's like, it's so funny to be like so versed in the stuff that you can tell, like Episcopal Church versus the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
okay. So I had a Catholic experience. There was the building fire next to us, and those poor people. I think 18 units displaced and their rent stabilized, and you really can't switch into another one. And a lot of people can't get back into the building, lost a lot of their belongings. Some guy is a manga the dirty one, but whatever.
No,
he has that kind of okay. Manga. He's a manga illustrator. Apparently he's well known. I don't know the world at all. He lived over there, and he had some like very old originals that apparently were really valuable, and they got burned. But the Catholic Church had a Christmas concert to raise money for them. They ended up raising like 200 grand, which is great. I think everyone's gonna get like 10 grand. But I took Shay. It was Sunday afternoon, and we go in. She's been in a couple of Catholic churches, but she hasn't been in kind of a regular setting for one. I think we went to like a wedding, and
so you sent her to confession.
So we take her in.
It's like, get in the booth.
And I said, it's going to be a Christmas concert. But like in my head, I'm like, Catholic churches don't like sing carols. So we get in, and the choir lines up at the back. Choir's incredible, full house, really nice. But they start singing like Latin songs. Like, oh no, Domine. Oh, that's beautiful. But Shay's looking at me, and she literally out loud in hearing range of like 7 people goes, why aren't they singing Jingle Bells? I was like, it's a great point. And then I'm like flipping through, and I'm like, the best we're going to get is Joy to the World on the last song. That will be the closest we get to. So we're hanging out, another 10 minutes pass. She starts noticing the Stations of the Cross. We're right next to like 11. Jesus on the ground.
Getting
And
bloody.
she goes, Daddy, did that guy die? What? And she's pointing right at the station, which is beautiful. And she's going like pretty loud. She's going, did he die? And like everyone around me is like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh yeah, we might not be able to make it. We made it 5 more minutes. So we hung in for like 24 minutes maybe. And I was like, do you want to go eat soup? And she's like, yeah, let's go. We just snuck out the side and yeah.
Did you explain? Is she now curious? While there's this big.
I said that's when he falls the second time, and then Simon of Cyrene carries the cross. And I played Simon of Cyrene in a Lenten performance of the Stations one time. So that's my favorite station is when Simon steps up. So no, we didn't get into it.
Okay.
We go to the only time we go is on Christmas in Steamboat, and it's to this Methodist church that looks like whatever, nothing to it. There's no intimidating stained glass. You could tell she was just uneasy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is great. It's dark. It's beautiful. It's an old church. It's 130 years old. They've renovated it. It looks great, but it's intense in there. I hadn't been in just a regular one in a while. And I was like, I can tell her. She's just like looking around. Everything's a little frightening. Like all the stained glass and all the stuff. And then everyone's in the robes.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine, but you
Pretty
could tell
alien.
what's going on in here. And then no one's singing songs she knows.
Yeah. They're all in a different language.
Yeah, totally. And they started in the back of the church. I don't know why. So everyone has to listen to the first 2 songs turned. And I'm like, oh, is this some sort of like wild church that's like doing the Latin mass, like not looking at the crowd or whatever? I didn't know what was going on, but they did go up to the front. But we were 6 songs away from anything she knew. But anyway, Catholic Church. So
I would have blurted out for your sins. For your sins.
So you know how Daddy's a little intense sometimes? It's because of all this. You know how relaxed Mom is and how I am the way I am? It's because of this. But yeah, it was great. So anyway.
Great.
All right, you got anything else?
Nah, man.
Sweet, dude. All right. Hey, what are you doing for the holidays?
We're staying here because we went up to Thanksgiving. We're starting to get on my brother's and sister-in-law's train of alternating holidays. So
smart.
Everybody's all together one or the Thanksgiving or Christmas. And so this year Thanksgiving.
That's what we do. Yeah. And then her family's down there, so you'll see them?
Yeah, probably for like an hour or 2.
Nice.
Tops.
That sounds great. Good work.
Yeah.
We're going to Florida, so
sweet.
I'll give you a Florida update. But we're going to Melbourne first, the Space Coast, to see Carly's family, which is like Indian Atlantic Satellite Beach. Like it's the part of Florida people don't know about. And
the Panhandle.
No, it's the other side. So it's like between Jacksonville and Miami. There's that long, like Daytona's down there, but Daytona is even 2 hours away. Like it's where Cape Canaveral is. So there's a huge Air Force base. And then there's just like, the beach is kind of nice. It's where Kelly Slater's from. So it's like a surf hotspot. And that's where Carly's dad's from. Carly's dad used to know, he passed away, but when he was younger, he knew Kelly Slater. They used to skip school and surf together. But yeah, it's kind of like a grungy part of Florida. It's kind of cool. So we're going to go there, see her family, and then we're going to meet up with my family. So yeah, dude. Cool.
Well, I mean, yeah, you might as well, because it's getting warm for the holidays, right? We're getting a heat wave kind of.
You know what? Yeah. I think New York's getting like with the bubble. It's cold as hell here, and like it's kind of forecasted to stay cold. But the thing is, in Colorado, there is like no snow. It was 65 in Denver the other day. Like there's just nothing going on out there. So yeah, New York's kind of in the cold pouch right now. But yeah, I saw it's gonna be hot. So
yeah, well, cool. Enjoy it, man.
Yeah, dude. All right, have a good week. Have a good 2 weeks.
Happy New Year.
Later, dude. Happy New Year.
You
Later.
too.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You don't want to leave.
We'll see you all next time on the Smoke and Hat Podcast.